If you can't balance on one leg for 10 seconds, your risk of death in the next 10 years jumps by 84%.
Leg weakness, foot problems, and mobility might just seem like an inconvenience, but it's actually a telltale sign of what's to come.
Are your legs and feet warning you? This video could change your future. Stay with us.
You know, I found this out firsthand as my dad began to age, and he had a pretty rapid decline as a young man. So let's say late 60s into his 70s. He stopped working out, he stopped eating healthy, he was drinking too much, he stopped really moving around, kind of got hooked on different shows, TV, and really a sedentary lifestyle. And then one day, one dreadful day, my brother happened to be driving past my dad's house on the way to a client visit. And my brother had an extra 5 or 10 minutes, and he knew my dad wasn't feeling great, so he stopped in. Called him on the phone first, no answer, but had some inkling that he should stop in. What had happened was my dad actually, as he was walking from the couch to the kitchen, got a little dizzy when he first stood up and apparently fell backwards onto the cast iron radiator that was in his home. Smacked the back of his head, and as you all know how the head bleeds, hit the ground and couldn't move. And when my brother got there, literally about 10 minutes later, he was in a pool of blood that scared the bejesus out of my brother, who then called 911 and got him to the hospital. I tell you that story because he really let the core main things slide, and he had a lot of indications along the way that he was going down a wrong path. And unfortunately, it took a tragedy like that for him to correct his behavior.
Yeah, and if you do have trouble standing on one foot for 10 seconds, you can fix that. So don't want you to think that all is done. You can fix it, and you need to fix it. One of the reasons people get this wrong is they don't understand about the loss of muscle. It's called sarcopenia. I think I pronounced that right. You start losing muscle at the age of 30. So I'm 68 now, and while I'm actually building muscle now, but if I wasn't working out and going to the gym with Jody as much as we do, we'd be in trouble. So we're reversing that for us, but you need to know that at 30, you start losing muscle. So if you spent the last 30 years in your career and you didn't really work out, now is the time to do it. Don't think that this is the time to sit back, take it easy, and sit on the couch.
And really, many retirees kind of avoid weight training. You know, they kind of gravitate towards different types of training, you know, bicycling, gardening, you know, everyday housework, those type of things. But, you know, once you stop strength training and you have this decline in muscle, you really leave yourself open to falls, fractures, and reduced mobility, which is not what you want in this phase of life.
Right. And you know, that fact that we said in the beginning comes from a study that the British Journal of Sports Medicine did. And it is a fact that if you can't stand on one leg for 10 seconds or more, your risk of death goes up by 84% in the next 10 years. So this is a serious thing to really pay attention to. The other thing that people get it wrong is, even if you just go to the gym, you know, you're tearing your muscle, you need to rebuild it. You need to have the right nutrition to pair with that to bring protein into your body. There's a new way to think about this in your life. Mobility equals longevity. There's a new book that just came out called, I know I'm going to get this wrong, I'll put the name of it down below. It was by Dr. Eric Topol, and it's a very hard book to read. I've tried it 3 times, but I don't know, there's 250 pages. But the thing he came up with, he studied a group of 85-year-old people, men and women from around the world, to figure out why are they in such good condition. And there was 3 things. It's not DNA. Number 1 is they were not overweight. Number 2 was they have really strong social connections. But the most prevalent thing that they all had in common was they exercised and built muscle.
Well, and then the partner to that, right, is looking at your food as fuel for your mobility and your weight training and your body. You know, kind of like when your kids were young, if you happen to have kids, you know, I remember the pediatrician said to me, you know, there's 21 meals in a week. At least 7, at a minimum 7, have to be high nutritious meals that the kids eat all of.
Right.
because 21 is hard, right?
Yeah,
To get all
yeah,
21
yeah.
in. But you have to think of that now at this stage of your life. Are you fueling your body with the right nutrients to build muscle? Are you fueling your body with the right nutrients and hydration to carry oxygen? Are
Right.
you, this idea that your integrated nutrition is really part of your medicine moving forward.
All right, so what are we going to talk about today? Number one, we want you to take the 10-second test. This is a measure of your mortality, and hopefully you can stand on one leg for 10 seconds. If you cannot, this is a bit of a warning sign to you well in advance that you need to make a change in your life. So just try it. You could pause the video or just try it later, but stand on one leg, and I suggest that maybe if you don't think you can do it, stand near a wall so you can hold on to it, or hold on to the wall and try it. But if you can't do it, then you need to make a change in your life.
And the second thing is you really should start to monitor your daily leg strength. Using the sit to stand in a chair. I mean, you don't have to go to a fancy gym to do this. Just stand over a stool or chair and sit down and pop up and sit down and pop up and really track your mobility. How are your knees feeling? How are your thighs feeling? How are your hips feeling? Is your core straight? Just really building in that muscle response so that if you do happen to fall or lose your balance, what is your mobility like getting up on the other side?
So you could just do that test, either a sit to stand, or you could just do squats and do as many as you can and write down how many you could do and keep a journal. And try it again tomorrow and see if you can do the same amount or more. But you're going to build muscle over time, and you can go from sit to stands, you can do squats, you can do some lunges. Probably the best thing to do, find a YouTube channel for exercising over whatever your age might be. There's really good resources out there to help you, but we really want you to take this seriously. All right, you need to think about, again, following up on what I just said, find some of these YouTube channels or go to a gym, but you need to strength train your lower body at least 2 days a week.
I would say 2 to 3 days a week with the squats and the lunges and the toe raises for your calf. Really try to work hard on strength equaling your survival.
Yeah. Here's another thing we want you to do. Start integrating daily movement into your routine.
Absolutely. Walk after you have meals in the morning, midday, and afterwards. Stand during any calls you might have. If you're on a call and it's not a Zoom call where they can see you, do a few squats. My niece, after she had her baby, she would do 100 squats on every phone call she was on and just really build up her core and her legs, kind of post-pregnancy. You can do that too, 60 and beyond, for sure.
When we shoot video or when we're working on our business, we'll work for 50 minutes, take a 10-minute break, go up and down the stairs, go outside, get some fresh air for 10 minutes and come back. We are constantly moving. If you're sedentary for an hour or two, I'm actually out of breath because in the middle of this video, just a minute ago, the doorbell rang. I had to run all the way down and come back up. But movement is really important to do as much as you can.
Right, absolutely.
Okay, foot care. You really want to pay attention to your feet, even if you're not diabetic. You really want to see, are there sores? Does your ankle hurt? Is it hard to walk? Do you have any pain? And you want to get it looked at.
And even beyond kind of the internal workings of the foot, are your feet moisturized and protected? There's nothing worse than those cracks around your heel that kind of sting every time you step. So you need to address some issues early. And I know we're big fans of pedicures.
Yep, we are, particularly you. But nutrition is really important for sarcopenia. You want to eat for blood sugar control. I was pre-diabetic 7 years ago because I had too much sugar in my diet. Sugar in red wine, white wine, cookies, chocolate chip cookies. I've pretty much given up chocolate chip cookies and Oreos and all of that junk food filled with sugar because that leads to diabetes, which hurts your ankles and your legs and then you have a serious problem.
Well, yeah, I mean, processed carbohydrates really drive risk in your life. If you can just remember that, regular carbohydrates, the sugar found in berries or even, unripe bananas or, some of your fruits are fine, but processed carbs really drive risk in your life. And your daily choices really compound over time. I mean, there was a time when you were having 2 cookies after lunch and 2 cookies after dinner. And Mark loves chocolate chip cookies. If you're ever to send him a gift, it's chocolate chip cookies.
No, don't.
But, it was an overtime problem
Yeah.
that you really had to work on.
So that's really important. The other thing you want to start doing is, we talked about the 10-second test, and if you pass the test, doesn't mean you can coast. What it means is, okay, you have it under control, but you still need to build muscle. But the other thing we want to talk about is just practice balance intentionally. Your brother and I had a chat the other day. He's a big exercise guy, and he goes to F45.
Nope, Orange Theory.
Orange Theory. Mm-hmm. The fact that we both can stand on one leg and lift our other leg and put a sock on without sitting down. I didn't used to be able to do that. Not 10 years ago I couldn't, when I was, overweight and not really healthy and I wasn't exercising. I'd always have to sit to put on a sock and a shoe. And now I still will once in a while,
Sure.
But we have a stand-up desk. We're sitting down now, but when we're here working or doing Zoom calls, we're standing.
Absolutely.
And walking around. And it really is important to spend time each day working on your balance.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think the other thing that's really important, and I know we talk about routine a lot, but building a vitality-focused morning routine and ritual is really important. Something that combines mobility, flexibility, strength training, a little bit of cardio. If you dabble in all the buckets, it's going to pay off over time.
I mean, we have intentionally, in the last 2 years, we get up early and we go to the gym. In Florida, I go at 5 a.m., Jody goes at 7. Here in New Jersey, we both go together at 6:30, and it's worked out really well. We go 5 days a week. So we have crossed over the point of, well, should I exercise or shouldn't I? It's harder for us not to go to the gym than it is to go to the gym. There was a study done at London University years ago to determine how long does it take to bring a new habit into your life where it becomes a normal activity, such as walking every morning, right, or going to the gym. And for some people, they can do it in one day. For some people, it takes a year. But the average number of days it takes for someone to bring a new habit into your life to make it a normal daily habit, like brushing your teeth or turning the lights on when you go in the room, is 66 days. So on day 67, it's harder not to do it than it is to do it. So that's proof that you can actually do it. You just have to start.
Yeah, absolutely. And one of the things, I'm a big fan of the change one theory. So each day, if that works for you, or each week, change one thing, change one empty activity or empty time frame that you have into something that's functionally training your body, into something that compounded over time is going to be helpful. So if you typically midday eat your lunch watching the midday news, let's say, which is pretty much just a recycle of the morning news unless a big event happened, take that hour and eat your lunch while you're, outside walking, or, finish your lunch and go for a walk or do some squats, or, do the stool sit to stand. But find a way to really substitute that dead time with some activity.
Yeah, TV is okay, but not 4 hours. The average number of hours that people over the age of 65 spend watching TV is 38 hours a week. Now, I don't know how much time you're spending watching TV, and I'm not being critical of that, but you can't spend 38 hours a week. It's too much time sitting down being sedentary. So you really need to think about that for yourself. And the other thing we want to talk about is social accountability. Have a friend, meet a friend and go to the gym. Hold each other accountable. Talk to one of your children or your friends. We hold each other accountable. We have a buddy system. We actually now go together, which is
different for us.
Different, yeah. And you can share your progress with somebody else. You can get a friend to do that with.
And attending group classes, you might naturally migrate to someone. I know in Florida, my friend Linda, I'd never met her before in my life. We started working out. We realized we were kind of at the same place. She's younger than I am, but kind of at the same place from a fitness standpoint. So we would actively meet at the gym instead of passively meet at the gym. She would text me, I'm on my way. I text her, I'm going today. She would text me, I don't feel like it. I would text her, we're going today, me and you, I'll see you there.
Yeah.
So, really trying to get someone that helps you get over that little voice in your head that says, well, you could miss today.
Well, it does help accountability because you don't want to be the one that just doesn't show up and not say anything.
Absolutely.
Because then you get the whole text, where were you? What happened? Are you okay?
Yeah.
So there's concern. And then you're like, well, I just didn't feel like going. And you're like, what? I don't get it.
Right. And a lot of people change the statement from I have to go to the gym to I get to go to the gym.
I'm lucky. Aren't I lucky?
Aren't I lucky I get to go to the gym today?
Yeah, it's good. You hear us talk a lot on this channel about habits. And maybe you've got some bad habits that you need to break yourself. We created a free download, is below, the 5 bad habits to stop while you're retired. So download that and use that as a tool to break some bad habits. So here's a couple questions we had on this topic. This is from Linda, who's 71 years old. I want to work out and get off the couch, but I feel so tired and lazy all the time. What advice would you have to help with this? Okay, this is really simple. But when you get up in the morning, don't turn the TV on. Don't make that the first thing that you do. This, your mornings can become a sacred time. We talk about routines. My routine isn't a routine. It's a, oh my God, I forgot the word. It's a...
Mantra?
No. It'll come to me in a second. It's a, oh my God, I forgot. But anyway, don't scroll on your phone. Don't turn the TV on. Maybe have a little quiet time. Keep the TV off. And before you turn your TV on, say, you know what? I'm going to go outside now for 10 minutes and walk away from the house, and then I'm going to come back. Try that and then turn the TV on. But what happens is exercise will boost your energy level. But if you get up in the morning, scroll your phone, sit on the couch, turn the TV on, you're just continuing your sleep, but your eyes are open.
But I would also say, Linda, everybody gets into a rut. I mean, it's not as easy as just saying, I am not a person that gets into a rut. Everybody gets into a rut, and everyone has to find their way to self-motivate. I happen to be a challenge person, so if I'm going to walk Ruby, for example, my Apple Watch will say, split pace time is, 17 minutes, per mile. And so the next time I go out, I say to myself, split pace time is going to be less than 17 minutes. I keep trying to better my time, even on a routine thing like walking the dog.
Ritual. My morning routine is my ritual. It's sacred. It's important to me. I love it. It sets the tone for the day, and it includes movement. Okay, so here is, I'm John. His name is John, 72 years old. If I don't like gyms, how can I build my leg strength at home? Well, we kind of talked about that earlier. Sit to stand, squats, and you can do 10 squats a day, 10 sit to stands a day,
10 jumping jacks,
10 jumping
10
jacks,
high knees,
10 high knees,
10 butt kickers,
10 butt kickers. Try that. So that'll take you what?
It's 50 things.
That'll take you a minute. Do that 5 days in a row. Take the weekend off. Start again on Monday. But if you want to increase the
reps,
or I was going to say, hold 2 cans of soup. So now you've added a little bit of weight to your body. So try that.
Yeah, absolutely.
And do as many push-ups as you can. And you know what? If you can't do one push-up, do a knee push-up. Do 1 knee push-up. Add that. So what you do is you just start adding a few more exercises to your routine, and your legs will get stronger.
Yeah.
And your arms.
Yeah, definitely focusing on the lower body, because that's the video.
All right. What's another question?
How do I stay consistent with strength and movement when no one is keeping me accountable? Write it down. Or even if your friend doesn't do it with you, your daughter, your husband, your sister, your brother, your spouse, your partner, your neighbor, tell them every day I'm going to send you a text. Every day I'm going to send you a text that tells you what my movement was in the morning, noon, and night. And you know what? The person doesn't have to do it with you, but they can respond, good job, or what happened today, or I didn't hear from you. And people like accountability partners. They like to be the accountability partner, and they like to have an accountability partner. So find someone.
2 more tips I just thought of that I learned from other people. number one, use Post-it notes. Put one on, if the first thing you do in the morning is go to the bathroom and look at yourself in the mirror, put a Post-it note on there. Move today. Then also the night before, and put that Post-it note on the TV and put it on the fridge. But also the night before you go to bed, lay your sneakers out and a walking outfit or an exercise outfit. So you get out of your pajamas and put that outfit on right away. You read the Post-it notes, you're not turning the TV on. You've now reminded yourself 3 or 4 different ways that it's time to go out and walk for a little while.
You know, I played golf the other day with an 89-year-old woman, and when I asked her, you know, Sandy, what is your secret? She said, you know, I move my body every day, and on the days I don't want to, I do it twice. And that to me was just so inspiring, because here she is, 89, about to be 90, playing better golf than anyone else in the league. And the reason is because she moves her body.
Love that.
If you like this video,
You're gonna love this next one too.
I'm not even going to say it might not. I'm going to say it won't
100%.
work out.
Without structure, your retirement will feel empty and it's gonna go really fast. And your health will decline fast. Because when you don't have a lot to do and you don't have structure, that's when boredom, frustration, regret start
Laziness.
creeping in, laziness.